Hey everyone, Chris of Midlife Crisis Media here. Welcome to a very long overdue recent pickup stream. This is everything that I have added to my physical media collection during the months of January and February of 2026. So this is the first stream or pickup stream of the year for me. Um, and why was that? Well, January just was not a good month. Money was a little tight. I had a lot of stuff going on. Um, Honestly, was not in much of a collecting mood. I did not feel like going out and spending money. It was butt cold here in January, and I didn't feel like going out if I didn't have to. So yeah, basically just played the games that I already have, watched the movies that I already owned, that kind of thing. So yeah. But this month things changed. My yearly bonus came in yesterday, and things happened. I've been preparing for it, and a lot of pre-orders came in, and something really big happened at the very beginning of January, which is technically the only thing I really spent money on in January was one specific um, franchise of things. If you know me, you know exactly what it is. Um, so let's get into it. I got a lot of really cool stuff. I have a decent amount of movies, a decent amount of games, some extra stuff to talk about also. And we'll start with that. So, um, ever since I was realized I needed glasses, or I actually went out of my way to get some glasses, I can now read again. I enjoyed reading quite a bit before my eyes kind of went crappy. And I have been reading a lot. And one thing was before my eyes started to get really bad, I was reading this series of Star Trek novels. It was a series of 9 novels in a row. They all tell one long story, but are broken up into books of two to tell individual stories that fit within that big overarching story. I read the first four and a half before I realized I couldn't really read all that well anymore. And so I was like in the middle of the fifth book when I decided I was like, I can't see what I'm doing anymore. I need something's going on, whatever. And I stopped reading. Got the glasses, started to pick it back up again, finished the series out. And the thing was, the final book in the series, which was a standalone, it was basically the wrap up of all of the books that came before it. Um, as I was reading it, so I bought all these books used, by the way. So as I'm reading this final book, it is literally falling apart in my hands as I'm reading it. And it was really, really hard. I tried to get through it as fast as I could, so I, didn't have to continually like crack this thing open just in order to finish the story without it just crumbling apart into little individual sheets, which is exactly what was happening. And I had bought the book off of Amazon. There was no description of the book. It just said that it was very good condition. And I bought it. It was the cheapest in the lot. And when it showed up, I remember looking at it going like, that is not very good. The spine was cracked in like 3 different places. It was all buckled. The pages were all yellowed. I was like, yeah, whatever. Well, literally, when I finished the book, I put it down and the cover literally fell off. So what I ended up doing was I really liked the book. I really liked this series of books. I wanted to have that book again. I just ended up throwing that book in the recycling bin. I ended up having to buy another copy of Time for War, A Time for Peace, which is book 9, as you can see in this series. It's called the A Time series. Does it have the list of them in here? Yeah, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to sow, a time to harvest, a time to love, a time to hate, a time to kill, a time to heal, and then a time for war and a time for peace. This whole series is basically what happened from the ending of the Dominion War to where Nemesis picks up. It's there's a lot of stuff that happened in between. How did Worf get back into the crew of the Enterprise? It's never told or it's never spoken of in Nemesis why Worf is part of the crew. When he left DS9 at the end of the series, he was an ambassador to the Federation, on the Klingon side. Okay, why is he serving on the ship again? Like, Riker's got a new command. Riker's getting married to Troy all of a sudden. Like, they just kind of rekindled the relationship in the previous movie, and all of a sudden now they're getting married. There was also something that was cut out of the film, which was that Dr. Crusher was leaving to go and take over Starfleet Medical. Um, and all that. So it's basically all of those things that needed to be answered before Nemesis, this book series cleared up. It was really good. This one's basically just a big wrap up, like I said, but I liked it so much I wanted to actually own a newer physical copy, and this one is very, very good. And for some reason, this book is really expensive. I don't understand why. None of the Star Trek books, there's like certain Star Trek books that command a high price. There's one written by Andrew Robinson, who plays Garrick in Deep Space Nine. He wrote a book all about Garrick, and that book is like worth $100 now. I don't know why. This one like goes for like 40, between 40 and 60, but I found someone selling it for like 20 on eBay, and it was still in decent condition, so I picked this up, and luckily it's good. Also picked up a couple of graphic novels. Like I said, I've been getting back into reading. One of which is this Saturday Morning Adventures graphic novel from which company? IDW, of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, the Saturday morning cartoon. I don't know if this is retellings of episodes of the series. I don't think so. I just think this is like more of the show, just in comic book form, which is pretty rad. I love the cartoon. I have like the entire line of action figures. I have the entire series on DVD. So yeah, I felt I needed to pick this up, and it was not expensive at all. Have yet to read it, and this is going to make perfect sense for me, trying to get all the things in this franchise if I can. So I picked up a graphic novel called Tron Download, which essentially is two graphic novels I already own. It is the novelization, or the graphic novelization, of the first movie from Marvel. Yeah, this is from Marvel. So it's the retelling of the first film, which I own. And also, what's it called? Tron. Damn it. What is it called? I cannot remember. Tron Betrayal, which is the in-between Tron, the original Tron film, and Tron Legacy. This is what happened on Flynn's grid, which was briefly touched upon in Tron Legacy. This is retold in its entirety up until where Legacy picks up. So I had to pick that up, even though I already own both of the graphic novels. Got to get all the Tron things. And then, of course, I had to get this. I've been talking about this for many, many streams. That, trying to get all the Tron things in my collection because I'm a Tron super fan. And one of the things that I was really trying to go for was to get all of the different editions of the Tron Ares soundtrack from Nine Inch Nails. And there are a few editions of it that were released. There was like an Amazon exclusive one, which was like white, which made no sense when I bought the album, but when I saw the movie, it made sense. There was one that was exclusive to the Nine Inch Nails store. There was one that was exclusive to Target, and then there was like the standard edition. Well, I bought all the special edition ones. I never actually bought the standard one, which is this. So now I have all 4 editions of the Tron Ares soundtrack on vinyl. What makes this one different from the rest? Well, all the special edition ones that aren't the white one is that the colors are flopped. So the black is on top, the red is on the bottom, and the title of the movie is in different colors on all those different editions. One of them it's red, one of them it is white, that kind of thing. So love the soundtrack. Nine Inch Nails did a bang up job on this. I think it's not nearly as good as the soundtrack by Daft Punk for Tron Legacy, but it's still pretty freaking fantastic. They went full synthwave, and I love it. So now I have all 4 editions of that. Then yesterday, just as I'm like, oh yes, I finally have that, they announced, and I pre-ordered, the remix album that Nine Inch Nails has released on vinyl and on CD. Luckily, there's only one edition of that, but it's called, what is it, Tron Ares Modulations or something like that. It's on their website. So I pre-ordered the vinyl and the CD version of that. So Okay, now we can get into the movies. And like I said, something happened in January that for me is something that I was waiting for since October, talking about Tron. So Tron Ares came out on home video in at the very beginning of January. Movie was not a hit in the theaters, which made me very sad, regardless of the fact that I saw it like 7 times in the theater. Um, but yeah, it came out at the beginning of October, and it only took 2 months for it to come to home video, which I'm like, wow, you guys really like wanted to get it out there as fast as possible. Turns out it's a huge streaming hit on Disney Plus, which I'm really proud of. So maybe we'll get like a follow-up wrap-up of the series in like a series form instead of another film. I would love that. But anyway, came out on home video in various formats. Look who you're talking to. Of course, I bought Tron Ares on DVD. Do I ever intend on opening this and watching it? No, absolutely not. But, yep, I pre-ordered all the different editions of Tron Ares on the same day, and they all showed up on the same day. So yeah, Tron Ares on DVD. Which leads to... You guys are going to think I'm crazy. The Tron 3 movie collection, which has the original Tron, Tron Legacy, and Tron Ares all inside on separate discs, but all three of them in one package. Because I'm crazy, I gotta have all the Tron things. And then the only Blu-ray... Well, actually, I have two Blu-rays that I'm going to talk about tonight. One of which is, you guessed it, Tron Ares, the Blu-ray and digital code version. Never going to open this also, because why would I when there's 4Ks out there. Okay. The other Blu-ray is this. So, I've talked about this multiple times on the channel, that there's this Kickstarter, Indiegogo-esque website called Creator VC, and they basically do Kickstarters for like film projects. And one of the big ones is this series of documentaries about films called In Search of, and then so the first one was In Search of the Last Action Heroes, which was all about action movies from like the 70s through the 90s. Then there was In Search of Tomorrow, which was all about sci-fi films. And then there's the In Search of Darkness series, which is this long-running one. There was 3 In Search of Darknesses that covered 1980 to 1989. And they made 3 different ones that covered all of those years, just different movies from each of those years, over 3 different documentaries. And I kickstarted all of those. The Tomorrow, the Action Heroes, and then because the In Search of Darkness 1, 2, and 3 documentaries are so popular, they decided to move into the 90s for this. So I already talked about the first edition of that, which was In Search of Darkness 90s, and that covered 1990 to 1994. This is not what I bought. What I bought was, or what I kickstarted was the second part of it, which was In Search of Darkness 1995 to 1999. And the edition that I got came with an extra bonus case, like a hard cardboard case, to store both of these documentaries in, just like my part 1, 2, and 3 of the 80s came with. But they also came with their own individual case in case you wanted to keep them separate. So the one for 1995 to 1999 is this. And let me put my glasses on so I can read some of this to you. So what does this cover? Covers everything, like a lot of movies that came out between 95 to 99, such as Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Craft, Halloween H20, Bride of Chucky, and The Mouth of Madness, Seven, From Dusk Till Dawn, The Sixth Sense, The Ring, and J horror movies exploding that time, Cube, Tales from the Hood, Blair Witch Project. And it has interviews, or brand new exclusive interviews with Jamie Kennedy, Rebecca Gayheart, Eduardo Sanchez, Paul W.S. Anderson for Event Horizon, Rusty Cundiff, Andrew Devoff from Wishmaster, Corbin Burnson from The Dentist, Emily Bergel from The Rage Carrie Part 2, Steven Weber from The Shining miniseries, screen composer Marco Beltrami, and then others like John Carpenter, Mike Flanagan, Akilah Cooper, Charles Band, Don Mancini, Ernest Dickerson, and more. This documentary is... Where's the time? 384 minutes. So every time one of these comes out, I have to dedicate an entire day, like an entire Saturday or an entire Sunday, just to watch it. Because it takes that long. So yeah, there's like the back of the actual Blu-ray. And I'm definitely going to sit down and watch it. I mean, I bought it. That means I wanted to watch it. Just when I can find the time to do so is the question. But I can't wait. I'm gonna crush these. So I'm gonna put them over here. All right. Now we can get into the 4Ks, and the first one is, of course, Tron Ares. This is 4K and Blu-ray with a digital code, and definitely my favorite of the posters from the film of Ares. Like in the poster itself, it looks like he's racing up a building. But they've kind of changed what it looks like on here. Like it's just like he's racing against like on some kind of reflective surface. But whatever. Here's a movie that I watched on HBO Max at the end of 2025, and I absolutely loved it, and I was really mad at myself for skipping seeing it in the theater. I hope it wins the Oscar for... See, I'm kind of torn between I want this to win the Oscar for Best Picture or I want Sinners to win the Oscar for Best Picture. I love both films equally. I think Sinners is still my favorite, but... And I would love for that to win the Best Picture. A horror movie, of all things, winning Best Picture would be fantastic. But the other movie that I'm really rooting for is One Battle After Another, which is from Paul... Is this Paul Anderson? P.T. Anderson. See, there's two Paul Andersons. There's the Paul Anderson that did Mortal Kombat and all the Resident Evil films and all that. And then there's this guy who did Boogie Nights. Yes, this movie's the same guy, is directed by the same person who directed Boogie Nights. Yeah, 1 second. Oh. Never mind. There's some new features on StreamYard here that I'm still trying to figure out. It's starts off as kind of like a heavy drama about like people trying to like rebel against the government, and then halfway through it flips and kind of turns into The Big Lebowski, with the main character being DiCaprio just being so inept and just bumbling as he's trying to get away from the government that's coming after him. It is funny as hell. Tiana Taylor, never heard of her before in my life. She won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress for this, and I do believe she's also nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and she is great in this. And I've seen interviews with her. I saw her on Hot Ones the other day. She is awesome, and I'd love for her to win an Oscar. But it's fantastic movie. It's Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn. Sean Penn's a real son of a bitch in this, and there is like one supremely funny thing that happens to him at the beginning of the movie, which is like, I could not believe I was seeing what I was seeing. Benicio del Toro is like another character right out of The Big Lebowski. Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity, who plays DiCaprio's daughter, and I'm surprised she did not get nominated for anything, because it is basically her movie. It's all about her. Just everything else that's happening around her. She got no nominations for anything, which is surprising. I don't understand it. I wish she did. Didn't realize that this was available on 4K, so this is an upgrade for a Blu-ray that I have, and that is Cloud Atlas. This is from the Wachowskis and Tom Tykwer, who did Run Lola Run. It's an adaptation of a novel, which I've never read, but I hear is very hard to read. It's a time-jumping movie. I need to watch it again. I've only seen it the one time when it like first came out on home video. But it is like this time-jumping storyline, and all the all the storylines. There's like one in the there's one that's like in the super far future where people talk in like this weird, like pidgin English kind of thing. There's one that's in like a futuristic cyberpunk future that's like, you know, maybe like 100 years away from now. There's one that takes place in like the present. There's one that takes place in the 70s. There's one that takes place like in the like on a pirate ship or something, if I remember correctly, like in the like the 1700s or something. It's really really bizarre, and all the actors are looped in each one, playing different roles. Sometimes their genders are swapped and stuff like that. Sometimes they play a robot. One time they might play like a son of a bitch, and next they're playing like the nicest person you've ever met, kind of thing. It's nuts. Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Hugo Weaving, Jim Broadbent, Jim Sturgis, Duna Bay, Ben Whishaw, James Darcy, Keith David, Susan Sarandon, Hugh Grant. Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. When I first watched it, didn't really know what to make of it. I was just kind of like, that was interesting, but that was definitely a feat of filmmaking. I'm surprised they were able to get this movie made. It is like so dense with information. And then the more I thought about it, I was just like, that was kind of a beautiful movie. Some of the storylines are comedy. Some of them are like dead serious. One of them is like a detective story. They're really really cool. I like it quite a bit. So definitely think that this could benefit from being in 4K. So definitely had to pick it up. And it has a lot of extras on it too. Yep. Yeah, have to watch that again. That's another really long one. Criterion keeps picking movies that I'm surprised that they think deserve the Criterion treatment, where they get like the full restoration and a lot of new extras. Like they put a lot of money into it, and I'm surprised that they picked this one, but I'm so happy that they did, because this is one of those movies I used to watch all the time as a kid, and I can't wait to sit down and watch it again. I might watch it after the stream tonight, and that's House Party, the one starring Kid and Play. From like 1990, I want to say 1990. My parents rented this when it first hit video, just because it was there. Didn't really care about it, and I think they just taped a cop. My parents, whenever they would rent a movie, they would copy it, make a copy of it, and then watch it later. I watched it as they copied it, and I was like, "This is the funniest damn thing. This is so fun and entertaining," and it was like introducing me to hip hop culture. I really didn't have that much exposure to it back in the day. And I was just kind of like, Kid and Play are super freaking cool. I want to see every movie that they make from now on, which was basically other House Party movies, and that one where they kind of like did the Prince and the Pauper thing, which I can't remember. Class Act, I think it was called, which I think is still kind of fun. I need to watch that again. But this is definitely the best of the bunch. And it's essentially like a night in the lives of like these two high school kids who want to throw a party because one of their parents, or one of like I think it's Play. Yeah, it's Play's parents are out of town. He wants to throw a party, but Kid can't go because he's grounded because he got into a fight in school, and it's about him sneaking out and all the stupid crap that happens when you invite people, a lot of them you don't even know, to at your house, in like the trial and tribulations of all. It is super funny. Lots of quotable lines. I still like use the bitch. Who you calling a bitch? Your mama's a bitch. Absolutely love it. I cannot wait to sit down and watch that again. It's been a long... I probably have not seen that in 20 years. Maybe more. Arrow Video released a lot within the last 2 months, and I just pre-ordered a bunch more from them, and I cannot wait for some of those to show up. I really, 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 really want one of them specifically to show up as soon as possible, but it's probably not going to be until May. But what did I get from them? So they released these, like, they call them limited editions, but I think this is just like their basic standard editions of... one of them is Snakes on a Plane. This was one of those movies that made me so mad that it was not a bigger hit. Is it a good movie? Absolutely not. The first 20 minutes of it is absolutely one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It is so boring and hokey and dumb. But then once the snakes get loose on the plane, it turns into one of the most fun, like stupid fun movies I have seen. And I remember when the movie ended, I saw this in the theater. It was basically an empty theater. There's maybe 10 people in there total. When the movie was over, I stood up and I was like, that sucked so good. And people were like, yup. This was like an internet phenomenon. Like, just the title, Snakes on a Plane, got so much attention. I mean, and the story got out that they were going to call, like, I think the title of the script was Snakes on a Plane because they couldn't think of anything else to call it. So it was just like temporarily titled Snakes on a Plane. Samuel L. Jackson was like, that's awesome, I'll be in that. And when they hired him, they're like, no, we're going to change the name to like Flight something something something. He's like, no, if you change the name to anything other than Snakes on a Plane, I'm not doing this movie. And they were like, okay, fine. And it worked because the internet was like a buzz for months leading up to this. And it was like one of those things where it's such a huge internet sensation that there's no way this movie can not be a huge hit. And nobody went and saw it. It was like everyone wanted to talk about it on the internet, was saying how excited they were, but when the movie actually came out, they all decided to skip it. Which pisses me off because I had a good time with this. I think it's super fun. And Arrow does their usual thing by so many extras for this movie that I would never expect. Does it have the music video on here? Let me see. Reversible sleeve, no. Snakes on a Plane music video. There is a song about, called Snakes on a Plane, like Give It to Me or something. I can't remember what the subtitle of it is, which is one of the worst songs ever made, but it is so cheesy. It works with this movie. I love it. I absolutely love it. Also, this is an upgrade, Under Siege. Probably my favorite Steven Seagal movie. I'm not a big Steven Seagal fan. I like maybe 3 movies that he made, and that's about it. And one of them is him only being in it for about 15 minutes and then he dies. Executive decision. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's awesome. But this is, the one where he is a cook on a battleship and it gets taken over by Tommy Lee Jones. And he wants to, sell the missiles that they have on board. And turns out that cook is actually an ex-Navy SEAL, like Black Ops type guy. And he single-handedly takes out this entire mercenary army. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really well made. Andrew Davis, who ended up doing The Fugitive after this, I think he knocked this one out of the park. And he basically put Tommy Lee Jones back on the map. Because it was this and The Fugitive put Tommy Lee Jones back on the map so hard that everybody wanted him in every freaking movie he was, in the 90s. And he was in a lot. And then this is another upgrade, but it's an upgrade from another 4K. So I'm talking Evil Dead Rise. This is Evil Dead 4. But it doesn't really have anything to do with the first 3 Evil Dead movies. It's just like another story in the Evil Dead universe kind of thing. It has nothing to do with Bruce Campbell or anything. But why would I upgrade a movie that I already had on 4K? Well, it was because there's a point in time where Warner Brothers, who is, also New Line Cinema, were putting out these 4Ks that had absolutely 0 extras on them. Not even a trailer. It was just the movie. You might be lucky if you got a commentary track on that disc, but it was just the movie that's been upgraded to 4K. The audio has been upgraded to Dolby Atmos or whatever, and you might get a commentary track or 2, and that's about it. No, so I was like, that's bullshit. I'm sure there's, these are modern day movies. I'm sure they film plenty of interviews and do documentaries and whatever with all these movies that are being made. So I know there's stuff out there. It's just bullshit that they didn't feel like the need to put it on 4K. Well, Arrow took care of that. Look at all that. 2 audio commentaries, a brand new interview with the actors, Mommy Deadite, a brand new interview with that actor. Tons of interviews with actors. It's like individual ones for everybody. Brand new interview with special makeup effects designer Luke Pulte. Brand new interview with the editor. Brand new interview with the sound designer. Brand new interview with the music composer. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a short film on here called Ghost Train, which was directed by Lee Cronin, who did this, who now is thinking he's the new John Carpenter because he's got this new Mummy movie coming out. It's actually called Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I think that is the most arrogant freaking thing ever. You've got one movie under your belt that was a modest hit, and you're automatically like, I'm the new John Carpenter. Unless they're doing that in order to separate it from the terrible Tom Cruise Mummy movie. But yeah, really, really liked Evil Dead Rise. I'm really excited for the new one that's coming out this year called Evil Dead Burn. But this one was one of those movies that I'm watching it and horrible, gross things are happening. And I'm just sitting there with a completely straight face watching it. And I was with a couple of my friends and I remember leaning over and saying, I must be so desensitized to violence. None of this is affecting me. And then one thing happened and I went, oh, and I'm like, nope, I guess I'm not. Somebody gets a cheese grater raked across their calf. and shredded, and I was like, oh god. And that was the one thing that made me realize, thank goodness I am not desensitized to gore and violence in films. Now we can get into the steel books, the steel book sluttiness. Not too crazy this month, only five. Only five. And the first one is, of course, Tron Ares. I really, really like this artwork. It's kind of got like an embossed, I don't know if you can really see it. You can see like parts of it are shinier than others. It's kind of neat. Yeah, I really like this artwork. We have that on the back, which was a poster that was given out at the San Diego Comic-Con last year to advertise the movie. And if you went to the panel, you were given one of these, which I kind of wish I was able to go, but I wasn't. I'm not going to be able to buy it on the secondhand market. It actually says no going back down that strip. And on the inside, we'll get the discs out real quick. You got the shot of the highway chase with the light cycles. So yeah, really like this movie. As much as I'm collecting it and I praise it and all that, I do realize it is not the greatest thing ever. I don't think it's great. I think it's super entertaining. I really enjoy it. But is it the second coming? No. I'm not even a Jared Leto fan. But I wasn't going to I'm not going to let him ruin a franchise, and I was just hoping that it didn't suck. And I was pleasantly surprised by it enough that I ended up seeing it 7 times in the theater and bought every version of it that's available on home video, including a steelbook. This one did not sell out like the Tron and Tron Legacy ones did back in October or whatever it was. I think it was September. That was easy to get my hands on. Oh, I forgot to show this. For that In the Search of Darkness documentary, one other gift was a couple of posters, or a bunch of posters. Damn. There's one that just shows like all the different characters that are from the movies talked about within. And then this is the one that's on the slipcover. That's also kind of like a montage of different things from that era. Including another certificate to thank me for donating to the film, to the Kickstarter. In Search of Darkness, the producer and director of In Search of Darkness recognize your outstanding support, appreciation, and celebration of the cultural impact of horror. Signed by, I can't read those signatures, but I think they are actually, yeah, those are actual real signatures. It's not like something that was just printed. Those actually are in marker. That's rad. And also has a bunch of stickers, which I could give a shit about. I'm not 12 years old. And also a watch list of all the films that are talked about in both documentaries to check off which ones you have seen. I will not read these all off because there are so many. Don't ruin the ones that they talk about, because I haven't watched the documentary yet. I want to be surprised at what they talk about. I'll wrap that back up later. Anyway, back to Steelbooks. Had to get Predator Badlands. Saw this the same day that I saw Tron Ares in the theater for the last time before it disappeared from theaters. I'd actually made a plan to go and see Badlands and The Black Phone 2 on the same day. And then I saw that there was a showing of Tron Ares at like 8:30 in the morning in 3D. And I was like, this movie's not going to be in theaters the next week. So let's make this the last time. And it was still in 3D. So saw that at 8:30, saw this at like 12, and then saw Black Phone at like 3. I spent the whole day at the movies. I liked Badlands. I didn't think it was as great as everyone was making it out to be. I thought it was a little too childish. I do love the idea of your main character being one of the Yautja, the Predator characters. It's awesome. That's another creative twist on the series to keep things fresh instead of it just being like another person that's being hunted and then fighting back at the end. So yeah, you're following around this disgraced young Predator, and he's stuck with an android, one of the synthetics from the Alien films. That's Elle Fanning, who's been ripped in half for most of the movie. And then they also introduced this little teddy bear thing that's like super cute. I'm like, well, that's in this movie to sell plushies. And they're basically going up against the man, which happens to be Weyland Yutani. Why they felt the need to reintroduce the Alien franchise into the Predator franchise, I don't know. I would love it if they just stayed separate because I did not like those Alien versus Predator movies. I think they should exist separately. I don't care. But it looks like the angle we're going for the next film is a continuation of this, and it's going to lead into, like, I guess we're going to get another Alien versus Predator movie at some point. That's the plan. So I liked it. I didn't love it. This one was a surprise for me. So I watch when I'm bored at home and I want to kind of watch a movie, but I don't want to watch a movie. Like, I don't want to sit through the whole thing. There's a couple of, like, Let's Watch YouTube channels that I subscribe to. There's 3 of them that I subscribe to. One of them is Bunny Tales or Bunny something. I can't remember. Bunny. She's watching Star Trek: The Next Generation right now. That's why I'm watching that. Then there is Jen Murray, who is also watching through Star Trek Deep Space Nine and movies and stuff. But the one that I've been liking the most is called Maple Nuts React. And it's a young couple from Canada, and they have not seen a lot of, like, popular movies or movies that we would consider popular, when it comes to, like, genre stuff. And they've been trying to work their way through a bunch of Stephen King films. And the last one, it just happened, like, this week. I think it came out on Tuesday. But they watched The Dead Zone, which is from, like, the early 80s. Like, what year did this come out? 1983. This was directed by David Cronenberg. This is like the only non-body horror movie he made. They watched The Dead Zone, and I haven't seen The Dead Zone since probably the early 90s, and I really liked it. So them watching The Dead Zone made me re-interested in it. I'm like, actually, you know what? I want to sit down and watch that movie again. And then I just happened to look it up on Amazon to see, like, if it was available, and sure enough, it's been released through Scream and Shout Factory as a 4K steelbook, and I was just like, okay, fine, I'll buy that. It's a story about Christopher Walken. He's like a school teacher, gets into a car accident, goes into a coma for like 5 years. When he comes out of it, he becomes I can't remember what it's called, but it's when you can touch things and you can see where it's been, but he sees the future. So he touches people and he can see some traumatic thing that's going to end up happening in their future. And, like, when he wakes up from the coma, the first thing he does is he grabs a nurse, and he sees that her house is on fire and her kid's dead. And he's like, your house is on fire. Go and take care of it. And she does, and he saves the kid's life and becomes like a celebrity, or like a local celebrity. And then things just start ratcheting up, and he finds out something very sinister is going on with one specific person in town. And yeah, I really, really liked it, and I'm so glad that I saw that Let's React video to it to remind me that I needed to get this in my collection. And the last steelbook is from Germany. For some reason, so Hulu during the pandemic, like, Disney was like dumping genre movies on Hulu instead of releasing them theatrically. And they could have just sat on them and waited until the theaters reopened to release them, but they didn't. I'm talking like Prey, the Predator movie that led to Predator Badlands. The same guy made Prey, made Badlands. And that became such a huge online hit, and people were like going, why did you not release it theatrically? Everyone would have loved it. But they also released another genre film straight to Hulu, and I said the same thing. I would have loved to have seen this in the theater, and that is the reboot of Hellraiser. For some reason, Disney has not put this out on 4K yet, but someone licensed it in Germany and put out this steelbook. There's actually a couple of editions that they had, but the steelbook, I think, has the best cover, which is the new Hell Priest, or Pinhead, played by Jamie... I can't remember her name. Jamie... I keep wanting to say Jamie Kennedy, but that's the guy from the Scream movies. Whatever. She was great as Pinhead. Great new take on the character, too. And a great new take on Hellraiser. Hellraiser is one of my favorite things. The novel that Hellraiser is based on, The Hellbound Heart, is my favorite book of all time. And I was simultaneously looking forward to this and dreading it. I was like, They've been trying to reboot Hellraiser for so goddamn long that they had to keep on making shitty Hellraiser movies to keep the license available so they could do it eventually. Um, and I'm glad that they waited because David Bruckner, who did The Night House, which I wasn't a huge fan of, did this, and I think he knocked it out of the park. Introduced me to what's her name, Odessa Azion, who was in Marty Supreme and is like getting nominated for things now, and she's like this super hot actress now. Everyone wants her in their projects. And yeah, I really really liked it. It is graphic and gory, and like I said, it's a new interesting take on Hellraiser. And I hope we get a sequel to lead into other things because the way this ended, it didn't end with like a cliffhanger or anything, but it ended showing you something so cool. I was like, I want more of that. And ended up spending a lot of money to get this over here because of, the Fuhrer's tariffs. Had to deal with paying a huge sum of money just to get this over here, but I wanted it so bad I was willing to pay for it. And I put it on and it looks and sounds fantastic. Definitely better than watching it on a streaming service, so I'm super glad to have that. And now we can get to like the big box set type things. I've got like multiple movies in one collection, and then like the big bulky boxes that come from like the specialty, like the boutique labels. So one of the things I decided to spend my yearly bonus check on was this. I was waiting for this. I didn't want to spend the money on this when it first came out. I wanted to wait for it to discount a little bit. It got slightly discounted. That's when I bought it. And it is this Sean Connery 6-film collection of his 007 James Bond films. So this has Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and Diamonds Are Forever. The sad thing about this collection is, yes, it costs like $100. You get 6 movies in 4K. Technically, I only like 2 of them. The only ones I like in this set are From Russia with Love and Goldfinger, and that's it. I don't really like Dr. No, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, or definitely not Diamonds Are Forever. That one is so bad on so many levels. It's like laughable. Especially the whole Bond doing the wheelie, the side wheelie in the car that he's in when he goes through an alley, and it's on 2 wheels on its side. But then when they filmed it exiting the alley, they forgot which side it was on, so when they filmed it, they flipped the car on the wrong side. So they do like some stupid camera trick where they show the people in the car, James Bond and Jill St. John. Was it Jill St. John's or Jill St. James? Jill St. John sitting in the car, and it's like positioned properly, and then all of a sudden it goes, you hear boom, 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 and the car goes like this, the shot twists, and then they come out of the alley on the other side. I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I have ever seen. I hate that movie so much. But I like James Bond movies, and I want to have them all. I did have them all on Blu-ray, but now that they're starting to come out on 4K, I'm going to upgrade because I like them that much, some of them. They're probably going to release a big box set of Roger Moore stuff. I wonder how I'm surprised they didn't put, what are they going to do with On Her Majesty's Secret Service? Because that's like the odd one out. Probably just give it its own release. But yeah, happy to get this. I'll sit through them again just to see how the transfers are and all that. I'm really looking forward to seeing Goldfinger in 4K. That would be pretty cool. And then we got the big ass box sets. This one came from Vinegar Syndrome, but their new sub label, which is called cinematography or cinematograph. I don't know. Whatever. And the previous movie they released was Drop Zone that I had picked up. They released At Close Range. This is a crime movie with Sean Penn and Christopher Walken, where Christopher Walken is like this local gangster. Sean Penn is his son. He's kind of a troublemaker. He's got a bunch of friends that are troublemakers. He falls in love with this girl who's like really, really nice and starts to put him on the straight and narrow. But the dad doesn't like the fact that his son is kind of leaving his side, so does something horrible. I don't want to ruin it. We watched this in my film study class in high school, and I remember my dad talking about it when he first made the copy of it after he rented it, and I was just kind of like, okay, whatever, that sounds cool. Yeah, I'll probably never watch it. Watched it in class. Surprised they showed it in class because it is pretty violent, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I was like, I should have watched it back when my dad told me about it, and everyone in the class loved it too. It's really, really sad. Madonna, it was dating Sean Penn at the time, and she sang the theme song. Was it? Oh God, what is the name of the damn song? Live to Tell, which I think is one of her better songs. It's like really melancholy. But yeah, James Foley directed this. It is fantastic, and it comes in a book with a bunch of like notes about the making of the film. Like, what is it? Does it have like a table of contents? Yeah, the essay on the start is "You Could Drown," James Foley's masterpiece by Adrian Martin, all about the making of the movie, or all about the movie and the significance of it. Two discs. One is the movie on 4K, and the other one is all the special features. Need to sit down and watch this. It is a fantastic movie. I really need to sit down and watch it. I haven't seen it in so long. And they really put a lot of effort into this. Next up is Vinegar Syndrome proper. So that's like their sub-label. Then Vinegar Syndrome released Time Crimes, which is a Spanish film from Spain. Not Mexico, Spain. Which I saw back when it first came out on video. I remember a lot of people talking about it. I remember there was like talk of like horror sci-fi conventions, and the movie was being shown there, and people were like, that movie is fantastic. Rented it, and I was like, that was weird. It was not what I was expecting, because the poster art, do they even have that here? Is like this, and it looks like a horror movie. It's a guy whose face is wrapped in like a bloody bandage, carrying a scalpel, or is it a knife? I can't remember. It's like, I think it's a scalpel, and like a trench coat. It looks like a serial killer movie, but it's not. It's a time travel movie, and the dangers of what time travel does, like why we should not do it. And it had shown up just before Church the Game Grinder came to my place at the beginning of the month to go to a concert, which I'll talk about shortly. And because he's in my Dungeons and Dragons campaign, Tides of Flame, two of my friends, my local friends, Nick and Lorelei, are in the game also. They've never met each other in person. They've only met each other over the internet when we play D&D. So I invited them over to go out to dinner with me and Church, and we went to Pequod's Pizza, which is awesome. And then afterwards, they came back here, and I'm like, listen, you want to watch a movie or something? And I was like, I just got this movie called Time Crimes. Nobody had heard of it. And I'm like, okay, I'll put it on. And at first, everyone was like, this is stupid. But then as it went on, they started looking like they were really enjoying it, and it kind of like got them, which made me really, really happy. Comes with a book with an essay about the making of the movie. Like I said, it's a really interesting twist on a time travel movie. Like really it's not like one of these like world-ending things. It's like how it affects this one dude. Horribly so. And it is a lot of fun. It's kind of funny. It's got like a bunch of like there's a couple of times where there's like some senseless nudity in it. But it's like silly at times, it's really scary at times, it's like stressful. I love it. I think it's great. They also released Tank Girl in a limited edition, which I had to pick up. Saw this movie in the theater opening weekend. I was super excited about it because Rachel Talalay directed this, who had previously directed Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, which I absolutely hate, but it wasn't that movie that made me really excited about this. It was the movie she directed in between, which was called Ghost in the Machine, which was kind of like a Lawnmower Man type movie about a serial killer who escapes into a computer. It's a little Tron-esque also, which is probably why I liked it so much. This serial killer who gets into a car accident, gets scanned. He's getting like a brain scan in like one of those CT machines, and there's a power surgeon who like pulls his consciousness out of his body into the machine, and now he's like loose in the internet, and he's trying to kill people through the internet. And it was not great, but I thought it was a lot of fun. And then when she was going to do Tank Girl, which I heard was like this crazy comic book, which I'd never heard of before, I was like, let's see it. And I saw the trailer. I was like, that looks fun. Went and saw it opening weekend with some friends. Actually, it was my brother and some of his friends. And I absolutely hated it. I was like, that was the dumbest piece of shit. Like, what the hell was that? And then working at the video store at the time, boss comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, these movies are coming out, in a month. How many copies should we order?" And when I saw Tank Girl, I was like, "One." And he was like, "No, we'll get two." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." And yeah, it didn't really rent all that well. But my dad wanted to see it, rented it, and I watched it with him at home. And I was like, you know what? This isn't. I think I had weird expectations. This movie is weird. It's doing things in weird ways. And now that I'm like watching it again without my expectations, with them in check, I'm like, this is actually really fun and funny and silly and creative. And yeah, I really, really liked it. So this is one of those movies I changed my tune on completely. Lori Petty is great as Tank Girl. She like absolutely goes for it. She is 110% invested in this character. There's not one scene where she is not absolutely in manic mode. She's just like the whole movie. And she looks like she's having the time of her life. Inside's got like a little panel from the comic book. That's the slip cover. Does this have like a reversible cover? Because that would be great. Yes, it does, with the original poster art, which I love. Let's use that instead. There we go. This was the original poster artwork, which I'm pretty sure turned some people off. They didn't know what to make of it, myself included. But I love this movie. I think it's just a lot of fun. A lot of really weird 90s-esque fun. And it has a book in it also that has an essay about the making of the movie. Like, Lori Petty is hot as hell in this movie. And so is, oh my god, from the Ring, Naomi Watts. This is like Naomi Watts' first movie. And you can tell she's actually kind of nervous in it, but it works for her character. But, yeah, had to get this. Had to support it. Absolutely. And then this one showed up today. I ordered it yesterday at work. And this was also due to another, like, Let's React video that was on YouTube. So Jen Murray, I think it was Jen Murray. Yeah, Jen Murray watched this. I think it was recommended to her by people on her Patreon. And it was another one that reminded me, like, I really like that movie. I think that's available on 4K. Let me double check. And I sure as hell find out that Arrow Video not too long ago released a big box set limited edition of it. So I ordered it through Amazon. And that's Westworld. Let's open this up and see what's inside. So this was directed by Michael freaking Crichton. The guy who wrote Jurassic Park. He used to direct movies quite a bit in the 70s and 80s. Let me try to remember. Westworld, Coma. It was Coma, Westworld, Looker, Runaway, and there's something else that he directed, and that was when he stopped because it was not a hit. Runaway and Looker are like two that I used to watch on cable all the time. So, Westworld, pull this off, it's got the same artwork, but on the back you get to see a nice shot of Yul Brynner. So this is essentially Jurassic Park before Jurassic Park. It's about an amusement park, a series of amusement parks. One of them is called, there's like three of them, I think. It's like Future World, Westworld, and Medieval World. Where there are these robots that are sent out to interact with the people that are coming to the park who pay a premium to be there and have a really cool Western adventure. Like, I'm going to go ride horses and shoot, bad guys and, do the holster thing and do a showdown, like a quick draw kind of thing. And then you shoot the robot that looks like a human, but it's really just a robot that gets fixed up and sent back out to do it again with someone else. That kind of thing. But everything goes wrong. Like, one of them becomes, it breaks its programming and actually goes on a murder spree. And then all of them start to do that. Like, the medieval world starts going crazy, and then the future world starts going crazy. So, yeah. Really, really fun. It's very 70s, though. James Brolin is in this. And, oh god, what's the name of the other guy? The guy that's actually technically the lead, but James Brolin is his little sidekick friend in it. Hang on 1 second. I'll flip the artwork around so I can show the original artwork of the film. Yul Brynner, Richard Benjamin, James Brolin, directed by Michael Crichton. It's a lot of fun. It's very fast paced. It's over really quick. It's only 89 minutes long. And I remember watching this back when, I want to say it was probably the early 90s, when I like got my own video card to the video stores, and I would just go and rent weird things. And I was like, I've heard of that movie quite a bit. I've never actually watched it. Rented Westworld. I was like, that was actually pretty fun. There's the poster with the new artwork and the old artwork. Yeah, what can possibly go wrong? Or where nothing can possibly go wrong. And wrong is spelled wrong. It's spelled warng. That's awesome. So, I folded that wrong. It also comes with a book with an essay about the making of the movie. Contents: cast and crew for Rise of the Machines, how Westworld changed the face of 70s sci-fi. We don't know exactly how they work. The cautionary tale of Westworld. A society of guns and action. Performative masculinity in Westworld. Cosplaying cowboys and robot girls. The costumes and production design of Westworld. That's pretty cool. So yeah. Had to pick this one up, and I can't wait to sit down and watch it again. Thanks, Jen Murray, for watching it on your channel. Remind me that I should have added this to my collection a long time ago. And I think this is actually the first time I've ever really owned this. I think my dad owned a copy of this on DVD or something, but I never did. So this is the first time I've ever owned Westworld. And then the big thing isn't big, it's just large for movies. Is something that I had to order specially from A25. Again. So A25 is kind of withholding their movies, and you have to order them through their website and pay a premium for them if you want them. But they do release a nice package. So the last time I did this was when I bought that triple pack that came with X, Pearl, and Maxine. And this is the only way you can get this director's cut of this movie on 4K. So I forked it up, and, that is Midsommar, the director's cut. This is from Ari Aster, who did Hereditary, and then just directed that movie with Pedro Pascal in it. And this is a really interesting packaging. It's like this, fabric that's been like plastered on this like hard box. Midsommar, an Ari Aster film. You can see that, and on the back it's got like this equation on it. 978 equals 1 equals 773,390 or 7,339,920 equals 4 equals 6. I need to watch the movie again. If that has something to do with the director's cut, I don't know. I did see this in the theater based on how much I liked Hereditary, and I've talked about it on this stream quite a bit. I can watch violent stuff all day long, and it doesn't really affect me unless it's like real violence. But if I see in a movie, I see something like a bone breaking, it's over for me. I'm done. There is something that happened in this movie that involved a bunch of bones breaking, and I was like squirming in my seat, almost dry heaving in the theater. You have no idea how it was like. I was like, So I'm kind of dreading watching this again, but I really liked it because it was first time I ever saw Florence Pugh in a movie, and I was like, she is awesome. That girl is amazing. And then she shows up. Next thing I see her in is Black Widow. And I'm like, she's in the Marvel universe already? Good for you. Jump on it while you can. So yeah, the movie comes in like this book. And I think it already broke. Looks like it. And yeah, it has like a series of pictures from the movie, like paintings, like murals. That one's got nudity, but stuff like that inside. Yeah, this movie is messed up. It is definitely creepy. Shows basically what happens in the movie. But yeah, murals from Civ's house. So, these are the. Okay, so. These are just so we can get a good closer look at them. These are like the things that the production stuff that was used in the movie. That is horrific. Wow, is that the Kama Sutra? I'm not showing that on YouTube. I'll get fucking banned. It's like basically showing people getting fucked in the ass and stuff in here. That's interesting. And then there's like stuff like that. So yeah. So what's the movie about? If I remember correctly. Okay, so Florence Pugh's sister commits suicide and at the same time ends up killing her parents. What's up, Retro Coop? Retro couple. word. She commits suicide and I think kills her parents at the same time. And Florence Pugh goes into like this depression. Her boyfriend is trying to cheer her up. A bunch of their college friends are going to, what was it, Sweden or the Netherlands or something? Because one of them is from that area, and he's like going back for this like festival that happens like once a year, and he invites them all to come with. And nope, it's all a big plot. It's nuts, and that's the movie that made me take notice of Florence Pugh, and I think she's absolutely fantastic. So how you doing tonight, dude? Welcome. So, video game stuff now, and I can start with this. So I mentioned that at the beginning of the month, Church the Game Grinder came from Minnesota to visit so we can go to one of those video game concerts that he keeps on coming down here for. Apparently they don't have any concerts in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and it's all in Chicago, so he has to come down to Chicago like once a year or something. This is going to be twice this year. There's another one happening like at the end of April. No, the beginning of May. He's coming back down again. Not that I'm complaining. I love having the company. So the concert that he came down here for at the beginning of this month was the Death Stranding Strands of Harmony concert. I have never played Death Stranding. I do own the first game, the director's cut on the PS5. Have never played it. I just love classical music. I love film scores. I love video game scores. Even if I have not played the game, I love watching like an orchestra play. I love orchestral music. So I have no problem going, even though I have no idea what is being played. And I really loved the concert. It was fantastic. It was a lot of songs. It was less orchestral stuff, and a lot of it were these like songs, and they actually had the people who sang the songs in the game come out and sing them on stage. I think were they the real people? I want to say yes. Oh no, the band Low Roar did the songs from the first game. I think that guy passed away. So they have a guy come out and sing the songs instead of him. And then there was a female vocalist that came out and sang the duet stuff also. So we get there to the concert hall that's in downtown Chicago. I hate driving in downtown Chicago, even though I live like 15 minutes away from it. And hard not to get caught up in things. So I'm standing in the merch. Like every time we get to one of these concerts, whoever I'm with is like, first things first, let's go to the merch table before the concert starts. Because everything's going to sell out like it normally does. Whenever we go to these Final Fantasy concerts or these Nier concerts, the stuff that they want to buy is always sold out. So they're like, let's do it first. And usually the line is super long. It's like hours long. And then one of them who wants to buy something from the merch table leaves them in the middle of the concert to go and buy the stuff when nobody's there. The weird thing was, like, the line was very long for the Death Stranding merch, but it was moving so fast that we got there within like 10 minutes to the table. And I'm standing there looking at everything they have, and I was just like, the poster's only $15. That's a really cool looking poster. Yeah, I'll buy that. The hat is how much? That's not bad either. I'll get that too. I always end up, the only thing I ever buy from these concerts, I don't buy like anything else. Usually I just buy the tour booklet, like the program book. Which is the only reason I was in line with them to begin with. I'm like, I'll buy the program. But then I'm like, oh, I'll get the poster. And it's in another room. I'm not unroll. I don't know which. I have it in a poster roll, cardboard poster roll. I don't have 15 of them in the next room. I don't remember which one it is. I put it in there. I'm not emptying them all out looking for it. So you have to trust me. I bought a poster. But I also bought the hat, Death Stranding, Strands of Harmony, World Tour, 2025-2026. And I bought the tour booklet, program, which shows where they played. So they played in Sydney, Seoul, Korea, London. When it comes to the U.S., they played in Los Angeles, Newark, Seattle, Chicago, Austin, and Boston. And Europe, they played in Berlin and Milan. They played in Yokohama. They played in Montreal and Toronto, Osaka, Singapore, and Bangkok. And I think we're one of the last stops on the tour. Even has like some of the music on here. And it was a great concert. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people there that were dressed up. So funny thing was, so both it was me, Church the Game Grinder, and then my friend Rocket Sauce from the Cartridge Club, who lives in Wisconsin, who's a big fan of these games too. We all went together, and actually, I can bring a picture of them up too. So when the intermission hit, I didn't have to go to the bathroom. So I was at the end of the aisle. I stood up so they can get out, go to the bathroom, or do whatever they needed to do, get a drink or whatever. Ryan, Rocket Sauce, offered to get me a water. And I just stayed standing, waiting for them to come back, so I wouldn't have to keep on getting up, because I'm getting wedged in the chair because the chairs are really small. And as I'm standing there, this guy that was sitting behind me just randomly looks at me. He goes, "Did you ever play the second game?" And I looked at him. I go, "I haven't played any of these games." And he went, "And you're here?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's awesome." So he goes, "I'm just kind of curious as to what other people's interpretation of what the ending of the game was about is." And I'm like, "I got two people whose, seats are right in front of you that, you could probably have a great conversation about that, with. So wait a few minutes and they'll show up." So sure enough, when they show up, I'm like, "Oh, so you guys have played the second game, right?" "Yes." "This guy has a question for you." And they started like talking. And then the woman that was sitting next to them on the opposite side of where my friend group was got in on the conversation and just turned into this big thing. And I'm like, I love bringing people together. Yeah, I'll put this one up. Hang on one second. So yeah, it was a really, really good time. And the music was fantastic. It made me really want to play the game. Let's see here. Let me upload media assets. No, that's videos. Wrong one. Right here. Damn it. So here's us in the lobby in front of this big mural that they had. So that's me on the left with the Church the Game Grinder, and then Rocket Sauce from the Cartridge Club kneeling. And they're like, "Make the thumbs up sign." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Make the thumbs up sign. That's what you do." I'm like, "Okay." And then sure enough, every single person that ended up standing in front of that picture to take a photo was doing the thumbs up thing. And I'm like, "Okay, sure." Let's see here. Relaxing. Been on a Hong Kong old school movie mode lately. Nice. There's a bunch of Jackie Chan movies that have been coming out on 4K recently that I've been avoiding buying. Duel to the Death, etc. Nice. Death Stranding's a chill game, not for everyone, especially the beginning part. Dope book. You're in the glue. Nice. I'm in the glue. Is that from the game? I don't know. So yeah, like I said, great experience. Absolutely loved it. And they're coming, or Church the Game Grinder's coming back with his friend Cardboard Zero, Justin, in, like I said, the beginning of May, I do believe, for, I think it's another Final Fantasy concert. Okay, and then gaming adjacent things, while Church the Game Grinder was here, so he came up on a Friday. You're the glue for bringing people together. I gotcha. See, I'm doing the thumbs up now too. Yeah. I have no idea what it means. So that was Friday. Church came up. I introduced him to my friends that play in the Dungeons and Dragons campaign with him that he never met in person before. That was great. Saturday, Ryan from the Rocket Sauce from Cartridge Club was coming down in the afternoon, and I got a message from TJ Kitsune asking me what my plans were for Saturday. This is like 3 or 4 days before everybody was going to come over. And I'm like, "Well, I have, out of town friends coming. What are you talking about?" He goes, "Oh, there's a Sonic the Hedgehog pop-up restaurant that's right down the street from you." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that. I just never really thought to look into it." And I'm like, "Oh, you guys planning on coming to the city, on Saturday for that?" He's like, "Yeah, me, his girlfriend, and Megamat, we're going to come to the city, and we wanted to know if you wanted to come along." I'm like, "Well, if I didn't have plans, yeah, I would definitely go. But let me ask them if they would like to do that for lunch on Saturday, and I'll get back to you. And sure enough, they were like, "That sounds cool. Let's do it." And there was an ulterior motive for me to say, yes, please come over so we can all go to this restaurant together, because I had been talking to both TJ Kitsune and Megamat on Discord about this since, I want to say, last summer. They both offered me, each one of them offered me one of these things that's sitting in front of me from their collections that they were paring down because they know I like this franchise. And I was like, yeah, just next time we see each other, just I'll pay you and you can give it to me and whatever. And I'm like, come over now so I can get this shit over with so I don't have to wait for the Midwest Gaming Classic in April. So from TJ, I bought this Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero controller for the PlayStation 2. And it comes with this really cool outer sleeve. And there's the controller right there. And it's like magnetically sealed on the side and all that. And I don't want to take it out. I'm never going to use this. I just wanted to own it because it's a Mortal Kombat collectible. But the black spots are on the plastic on the outside. The controller itself is just that like icy blue. And it has that Mortal Kombat symbol on it. That's awesome though. And then, I want to say 2 days after I get offered that from TJ, hang on a second, Megamat messages me on Discord. He's like, would you be interested in this? And I'm like, Jesus. Yes. So he has the Scorpion Mortal Kombat 2 controller. This one doesn't have the outer sleeve, which is why he didn't charge me as much as TJ did for having the outer sleeve for that. I might be able to just buy it separately. We'll see. But yeah, it's like gold with the Mortal Kombat symbol on it. That's awesome. I love Mortal Kombat, as you know. So therefore, these were absolutely required for me to own. What brand is the controller? Let me see. It has Midway, Nubitech, and HotGameStuff.com. Mortal Kombat controller is with a K.com. I think it's funny. It has a disclaimer on here. This product is based on a mature rated product. I don't know if they're good controllers or not, but like I said, I'm not planning on actually using them. I want to keep them complete in the box because they just look cool. Now we can get into the games. So, if there was one thing I did not spend any money on in January, it was video games. The only video games I received, or I had added to the collection in January, were whatever showed up from limited run games that I pre-ordered a year ago. And that was it. This month was when I was like, we got to fix that. So I was like, I got my bonus coming at the end of the month. So that's going to be where I get the games for the collection. Newbie, gotcha. Okay, are they a good company? I'm not sure. I don't know. So not only yesterday after work did I go game hunting around my area, and I found some rad stuff, and I mean really cool. I also ordered a lot of stuff off of the internet, and you will be seeing that next month in the pickup stream. Then I ordered a lot of really cool stuff. So let's start off with what I picked up yesterday. So I'm always looking for Atari 2600 games in box, like everything else I have in my collection, except the TurboGrafx. But finding them in really good condition is a rare thing, because these boxes are 50 years old. Some of them are almost 50 years old. So there's this store that I go to that's by my work called Retro Dimensions. They are very expensive normally. You'll be lucky if you find deals there. But they just opened up a second store, and I went there on Black Friday to take advantage of the sales that they were having at the new place. And the new place had a lot better quality of stuff. So I was like, I haven't been there since November. Let's go back there today. So yesterday after work, I ran over there. And sure enough, I looked at their Atari stuff. I went through the whole store technically, but I started off with the Atari games, and I was just like, they have some really good stuff here that's not too terribly priced, and it is in really good condition. So I bought an Atari 2600 game that I've never heard of, never played, but it's by my all-time favorite developer for the console, by Imagic, and that is Moonsweeper. I absolutely love their artwork. Every one of their games has fantastic artwork, even though some of them is very suspect. There's one of them for, I think it's Star Voyager. It has an upside down Millennium Falcon on it, it's being passed off as another spaceship. But I really, really like that artwork. That is really cool. And the game on the back, it does not look like video game graphics. It looks like actual drawings of things. That the game does not look like that. But this came with everything. Not only is the outer box okay, but the inside came with everything. It has like this catalog for Imagic, a sneak preview of new things coming out from Imagic. The manual looks like it's never been touched. It's like brand new looking. And then you got the cartridge and the inlay looking brand new. So it looks like nobody had ever played this. It looks like somebody had bought it and threw it in a closet, and it just sat there. So absolutely had to get this. Space Rescue Adventure. Rescue miners stranded on the moons in Star Quadrant Jupiter 2. Brave deadly photon torches, space bullets, and aurora flares. Only skillful navigation, precise shooting, and careful use of your force field shield can keep the USS Moonsweeper in one piece. Sweep across the moonscape searching for marooned miners. Watch out for towers, alien vessels, launch surface destroyers intent on your destruction. Satellites break past, pulverize them, then blast off and make for another moon. Can Moonsweeper survive the mission of mercy? Never heard of this one, but like I said, Imagic's my favorite developer for the Atari. Had to get it. And I don't own an Intellivision, but I have a lot of Intellivision games. Eventually I'll get one, now that I actually have a CRT I can use it with. And Imagic made a bunch of different games for that console also. So when I saw the silver border sitting on that shelf, I'm like, I don't care if it's for a console I don't own, I'm getting it. So I picked up one called Whitewater. Never heard of this one either. But look at that artwork. That is super freaking cool. And the artwork on the back actually does kind of... no, it looks like it's a drawing again. But it looks kind of like River Raid and golf. I don't know. Shoot the rapids and hang on tight. Stay in the raft through the wild white water all the way to the finish. Fight the currents and steer clear of the rocks. Rolling barrels can slam you into the boulders and send you overboard. Whirlpools nearby spin you off course. Make it down the river in the best time. Stop at every beach, hop out of the raft, and run into the forest. Big Kahuna, the tribal chief, offers you treasures. Race against his speedy native for the golden urn. Play by the tribal rules, or the angry chief will throw tomahawks and stir up a mean river. Now back to the water for more adventures. Okay, that doesn't sound slightly racist. And then, once again, in great condition, even came with, like, the registration card. Anyone want to know Imagic's old P.O. box? There you go. Manual in great shape. Another, like, little coming soon pamphlet. Another catalog, and shows the different games. Like, there's games that did not come out on the Atari. Beauty and the Beast, Dracula, Swords and Serpents, Microsurgeon, which I do have. I think I have Beauty and the Beast also. And then the thing about the Intellivision was, the controllers had a number pad on it, and you had to get these inlays that would sit on top of the number pad that would tell you what, and each button would do something different, and the overlay would tell you what each button does. Finding these things, these games with those inlays intact, and both of them, is rare, and this came with both. And the game itself. So, super, super cool. And there was a couple more games for the Atari that I would probably buy. It wasn't the Magic stuff. These are the only Magic games that they had that I didn't already own. But super thrilled. I need to go back there and buy some more. And they had more for this other console I'll talk about in a bit also. Let's see here. Newbie, third party like Mad Catz back in the day is all. Nothing too great, but cool Mortal Kombat license. Yeah, I didn't even know these existed. And then, like, because right after I buy those from Megamat and TJ, Megamat sends me a picture on Discord being like, it was the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller for the PlayStation 2. He's like, you want this too? I'm like, no. Ask Captain Algebra. He's the Resident Evil 4 fan. I do not want that monstrosity here. No, thank you. I ordered this earlier in the month. I've been wanting to get this game for a long time because I'm a license whore. You guys know this. But absolutely need to get this, and I remember everybody telling me this game is actually a lot better than the license deserved. And that is Yo Noid for the NES. This is the game based on the old Domino's pizza mascot. The fact that Capcom was like, you know what? That's a license that we can make a really good game out of. And it's just a generic platformer, but it's actually pretty fun. And I've been wanting to get this for a long time. The price finally came down to something on eBay that I was willing to pay. So I picked it up, and it is complete. Made damn sure of that. For some reason, this manual is always getting stuck. So yeah, manual, cart, which is in really good shape, and the sleeve. So super thrilled about that. It's like like all the games that had to do with like fast food or food items, like Cool Spot for 7-Up and the McDonald's Treasureland Adventure for the Genesis. The McDonald's thing. It's like, why? But you know what? I have no problem with any of those games. I mean, the McDonald's one was made by Treasure of all companies. I mean, come on, Treasure's awesome. So absolutely had to get that. What's up, Peter? Love the first level of Yo Noid. It's more than a generic platformer. There's a puzzle game in there too. That's cool. I haven't put any time into it yet. So really wanted to get that in the collection. I'm glad that I found it for a good price on eBay, of course. eBay is the land of, everybody trying to gouge you. So I'm thrilled that I was able to find it in good condition and for, something that I wouldn't have to sell my kidney for, because all the other NES games that I was looking at, I would have to sell my big toe, toe pictures on Instagram or OnlyFans in order to be able to buy them. So there's another console I am maybe considering going for a complete collection for outside of the 32X. The best thing you missed so far? Going to the Death Stranding concert. I think Retro Coop missed these too, but I now own I own Tron Ares on every format there is available. I have it on DVD, a 3-pack DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, and 4K Steelbook. Oh man, I'm crazy. Also, finally bought the final edition of the Tron Ares vinyl that I needed in order to get all 4. Stuff like that. Put on my Death Stranding hat. That's Trontastic. Yep. So the other console outside of the 32X I'm considering going for a complete collection for is the Lynx, the Atari Lynx. It's easy to find. Their games are easy to find complete in the box all the time because nobody bought these damn things. So there's a lot of new old stock floating around. At the Midwest Gaming's class, God, I can't talk. At the Midwest, excuse me, Gaming Classic last year, I came across this table that I buy something from them every year, and it's always Atari Jaguar stuff and Lynx stuff, and they usually have a lot of the homebrew games for both consoles. Well, they had a ton of actual Lynx games, official Lynx games there that were still sealed. That I was like, what? They had Battlefield 2000. Which is one of the harder to come by games. They had tons of them that were still sealed, and they were only charging $50 for them, and not like the $350, $400 that are going online for them. And they also had one of the ones that is super expensive for that console, and that is California Games. It was the pack-in game that didn't actually come with a box. It came inside the Lynx box as just the cart, and you got a manual. And the copies that were in box came later in the lifespan, right before the console was about to die. So there were a limited amount of those out there, and they're super expensive. They had sealed copies at the Midwest Gaming Classic that were $50. I'm like, what is going on here? These things are normally $1,000 or something like that. Something crazy. And they were somebody found or bought a storage space, an abandoned storage space in Australia. And inside were boxes and boxes of Atari Lynx and Atari Jaguar stuff that was like looked like it was like overflow from an Atari warehouse, and they just threw it in there, and they just stopped paying the rent after some point in time, and whoever bought it found all this stuff and sold it off, and now like there's tons of new old stock for the Atari Jaguar and the Lynx out there, and I took advantage. I'm like, I'm not going to see these games for these prices again. I got to buy them now. So kind of got me back into the Lynx. I got 2 of the really expensive games off the list. Maybe, and the rest of them are just like kind of like cheap games. So they had a ton of them at the store yesterday when I went after work. One of them was Awesome Golf. Do I plan on playing this? Probably not. But it's a standard golf style game. The meter, instead of being like a curved one like you see in most golf games, is like an up and down. And if you've never seen a Lynx game, there you go. With that little curved handle. These things look like smaller versions of the TurboGrafx cue cards. But yeah, this was not expensive, so I was just like, okay, I'll take it. Also picked up Blockout, which was cheap as well. And this is like 3D Tetris. You can see it right here. It's like that Stargate game that came out on the Game Boy and the Game Gear, where basically like it's a 3D well, and things are going down the well, and you have to match up the blocks, make a layer, and the layer goes away. You know, like your typical Tetris-style puzzle game. Surprised I didn't have this one before. I could have sworn I did, but I looked it up on my app, and I was like, no, you don't own this. So picked that one up. And found another sealed one there. This is Dino Olympics. It says, come back to the dawn of history in this combination of puzzling problems, awesome adventures, and mind-bending mazes. The survival of your race is at stake. And it doesn't tell you what the events are, but one of them looks like... They look like platform. It looks like a platformer. It doesn't actually look like events. It actually kind of looks like Lost Vikings, if you ask me. But there's still more games that I don't own in my collection there. They had an NFL football game. They had a basketball game. They had 2 of the kind of pseudo-expensive ones there that I wasn't willing to buy. But I was just like, whatever. I'll come back and get them later. How do people not break those Lynx games? They're really sturdy. I mean, it's a thick plastic. It's just that the way you have to jam them into the Lynx and then kind of rip them back out. I'm surprised that the face label that's on the front of the cartridge has, like... I had a Lynx back in the day. I had a Lynx. I talked my grandma into buying me one in, like, 1990. And, like, I was surprised that I was not scraping the labels off the cartridges, which how you had to jam them in and rip them out of the console every time. I also bought a Game Gear game while I was there yesterday. And that is Aerial Assault. I do believe Captain Algebra bought this one when he came game hunting with Man Boy Cave and Midwest Media Show back in September. But this is a horizontally scrolling shmup where you're like in an airplane. And I actually was like, show me that this is complete. I want to make sure it even has the inlay in it for the cartridge. And sure enough, you got a pretty decent looking manual and the cartridge in a case with an official inlay. Thank you. Instead of the cheap little cardboardy thing that people can buy online to hold the cartridge in place. And the fact that it even came with a... Hang on a second. The fact that this even came with like one of the cartridge snap cases, I was like super thrilled about. There we go. So how you doing tonight, Peter? Got the kids to bed and everything? There we go. What's up, Man Boy Cave? No problem. Like I said, the beauty of streaming on YouTube is you can always watch these later. How you doing? Yeah, the kids are down good. And then earlier in the month, when I bought Yo Noid, I was like, I kind of want to get a Game Gear game. Captain Algebra being into the Game Gear now kind of made me get back into the Game Gear through association. And I was like, what can I find that's good but cheap? Because I don't want to buy $100 Game Gear games. There's no. So I found this. Virtua Fighter Animation. I remember hearing about this back in the day, but I never actually bought it. But I was like thinking to myself, Virtua Fighter on the Game Gear, that is going to suck. Just like those Mortal Kombat games suck on the handhelds. Nope. And then doing some research on this before I bought it, and guess what? It's not a one-on-one fighter. It's a beat-em-up with Virtua Fighter characters. I'm down with that. It says, take the Virtua Fighter arcade experience wherever you go, challenge the world's greatest fighters in the World Fighting Tournament, crush your opponents with fighting moves straight from the Virtua Fighter 2 arcade game. Oh no, this is a one-on-one fighting game. Pictures make it look like a freaking beat-em-up. I was wrong. There's a story mode in here, though, and choose between supersized or normal-sized characters. Okay. I got that wrong. And I'm surprised that this, too, came with one of the little snap cases. You got the manual, but this comes with not only the manual, but I remember I had this super wide gear. It's like this magnifying glass that attaches to the front of your Game Gear to like make the screen bigger. It does not work, or did not work. My big thing was I bought it when I was working at Kmart. So when I graduated high school was the same weekend as Jurassic Park's release in the theater. So I had my graduation party, and then the next day we went and saw Jurassic Park. And I used some of my graduation party money that I had received from everybody that showed up to the party to buy a Game Gear and some games. So I want to say like 3 weeks later, a bunch of my friends were like, we want to go see Jurassic Park again. Do you want to come with? And I was just kind of like, I would, but I don't have any money. Like I was working at Kmart. I was, 93. I was making like $6, not even $6 an hour, probably like $5 an hour. Not even that. So what I did was I just bought that super wide gear, brought it home, tested it. I was like, this sucks. This thing does not do what it says it's supposed to do. If it had a light inside, maybe, but it sucked. So I was like, well, you know what? Give me a minute. So I ran home, picked up the super wide gear, put it back in the box, brought it back to work with the receipt, and I was like, I want to return this for some money. I want to return this. And they were just kind of like, have you used it? I was like, absolutely not. They're like, okay. Gave me my money back, and I'm like, hey guys, I can go see Jurassic Park with you tonight. Yay! I'm going to say it was probably my third time seeing the movie at that point. Hell yeah. God damn it, get in there. You son of a bitch. I'll worry about you later. Okay. Yesterday at the game store, I was like, do I go for Saturn games like I've been doing recently? I've been kind of like on that Saturn kick. Leanne fell asleep while we were getting the kids down. Then when I was watching a jump scare compilation, Leanne thought it was the girl screaming in her sleep. That's fucked up. You made $5.15 in 2005, so I'm guessing you made like $4.50 an hour. Actually, I think it was less than $4.50. Did I kick up some dust? Shit. I think it was less than that. I want to say when I started it was probably like $3.75, maybe just slightly under $4 an hour. Because I would get paid weekly in cash, and for working 4 days a week, I want to say I would get like maybe $100. And I would always blow it the moment I would get it. The moment I would get that, I walked in the back. They give me my envelope with my money in it. I go right to the video game section, buy a video game, and that was pretty much it. I had maybe enough money left over to buy lunch or something, and that was it. But yeah, I've been on a Saturn kick. I was streaming Saturn games for the longest time on my channel, and I need to get back to that. It was like the stream got screwed up one time, and I haven't gone back to test it again. But now that I have the light gun for my Poly Mega, which works on modern day televisions, I was like, now I need to get some games that utilize that. So, didn't have that many Saturn games I didn't already own in their case yesterday at the store, except the really expensive ones. Like they had 2 copies of Albert Odyssey. They were like $450. But I saw this and I was like, there you go, that's the one. So I picked up Virtual Cop 2, which requires the light gun, the stunner. So this is going to be a great test for that light gun that I got for my Polymega to see if it actually works. So can't wait to do that. Yeah, this was like 1990. I started working at that Kmart so I could buy a Super Nintendo, and that was 1992, I want to say, when I got the job there. So, yep, I checked it for disc rot, and it's perfectly fine. So can't wait to actually sit down and play that. And I picked up these 2 PlayStation 1 games while I was there. This one was really cheap. That's Rampage 2 Universal Tour. I have known about this game. I think I've run across it at the Midwest Gaming Classic a couple times, and I always just kind of go like, yeah, whatever. I like Rampage. I used to play Rampage in the arcade all the time, including the big upgraded sequel that came out in the 90s or whatever it was. So, yeah, thought it was about time. It was only like $15, so I picked it up. And it's essentially just your old Rampage playing as these Universal monsters, crushing buildings and all that, but now the graphics are all, crystal, what do they call them? Or silicon graphics. They look like Donkey Kong Country graphics. Yeah, why not? It's also available on the Nintendo 64, but why would I want to buy that on the Nintendo 64? PlayStation 1, 100%. So, yeah. This was the expensive thing I bought yesterday. But like I said, I got a gigantic bonus from work. So I'm like, you have to get at least something that would normally be outside your regular price range. And I was looking at some things and I was like, no, I don't want to spend that much money. Like, no. And then I kind of like had to bend over in one of their big glass cases that had all their expensive stuff. So this is stuff from the, remember that expensive store, Retro Dimensions, I took you guys to, Man Boy Cave, when you came to visit? And they told us while we were there that they had a second store. Well, this is from that second store. So I had to like bend over to see in their PlayStation section like what they had down there. And I saw this one thing and I was like, that's in my price range. And I always wanted that game. It's by 2 companies that I love. And that is Silhouette Mirage. So wanted to get it because Working Designs. Absolutely love Working Designs. They released the game. But the company that actually developed the game is Treasure. And Treasure is probably my second favorite developer for video games. And what is Silhouette Mirage? So this is a platformer beat 'em up. And it's kind of like Mega Man, but if Mega Man had, like, you don't shoot things, you're actually like punching things. And it's very cutesy, and it has like really crazy animated cutscenes. But absolutely been wanting this forever, and have never. I think the only place I've ever really seen this is at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and it's always super expensive, which is why I jumped on it when I saw the price they had it for at the store yesterday, because it was way cheaper than I ever see it at the convention. And like I said, it was right in my price range. And this also comes with an exclusive Lunar 2 movie on the disc to advertise that release. So this came out just before the Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete box set came out for the PlayStation 1. So can't wait to sit down and actually play this. Yeah, we gotta check that out next time. They have way more stuff, including comic books and action figures and stuff like that at this other store. And the stuff's in a lot better condition. The prices are still kind of like, but they have more and like a lot of good stuff. The funny thing is, I think when I went there during Black Friday, when I got the Kid Icarus for the Game Boy and all that, I think I cleaned them out of all their good Game Boy games because they had no Game Boy games that were worth a damn left in their case. Speaking of Game Boy, I've been like, when I got the bonus, like the first thing I did was I'm like, I want to beef up my Game Boy collection, and I did. So you're going to see a lot of Game Boy stuff next month. One of the ones that I did pick up earlier in the month was Montezuma's Return. This is a sequel to a game that I used to play on my dad's Atari 800XL computer called Montezuma's Revenge, and it also is available on the Master System. I have it for the Master System. This is the sequel. It is a platformer that's kind of like a combination of like Pitfall and an Indiana Jones kind of thing. Can't really see the pictures very well. I need to get a better HD camera for my computer. But really excited about this because I used to love playing Montezuma's Revenge on my dad's computer. And this even comes with a little case for the game. I got lucky with the cases this time, guys. Woo! And for the Game Boy Advance, I got this because of Captain Algebra. He streamed this months ago. I want to say probably like early fall, late summer. And he was like, you know, guys, the licensed games on the Game Boy Advance usually don't suck. And I agree with that. I have so many licensed games for this console, and I don't think any of the ones I have are bad, except for maybe one. Normally, I would never in a million years want to buy a game based on this movie, but watching Captain Algebra play and him sitting there going like, this is actually really, really fun, made me like really want to buy it. We're talking Home on the Range. I could give a crap about this movie. Did anyone actually see this movie? I didn't. I still haven't. But yeah, he streamed the game and it looked really, really fun. It's a bunch of different play styles, and he plays a bunch of different characters from the movie. Like I said, never saw the movie. Don't know anything about it. But yeah, it's like a platformer and a puzzler, and yeah, live the adventure as you play as Buck or Jeb. Don't know who they are. One of them is a horse, and one of them is like a muskrat or something. Wow them with 5 karate kicking moves, confront 3 Willies, Rico, and Almeida Slim in an action-packed showdown. Yeah, whatever. I know nothing about the movie, but the game was fun. Captain Algebra, when he beat it, was like, this is actually pretty rad. And he kept on asking me when I was going to buy it, and I'm like, well, whenever I find it, and I found it. It's a second mention of treasure tonight. Yes, it is. Do you know what Montezuma's Revenge is in real life? Yeah, it's called The Shits. You never saw it either? Yeah, I could care less about the movie. So, one of the other consoles, I was like, you know what? I haven't bought any games for the PSP lately. And they had a very large PSP section at that store yesterday. So I was like, okay, let me take a look. Sure enough, they have like pretty much all the common games and a lot of the stuff I already have in my collection. So the two that caught my eye that I didn't already have were, this is a sequel to a game I do have for the PSP. So I'm like, naturally got to get the sequel to it. And that is Coded Arms Contagion. And this is a first-person shooter. First-person shooters on the PSP are usually pretty sketchy. They usually control really weirdly. You have weird button combinations. It's almost like the way you used to have to play first-person shooters before the invention of the twin sticks on controllers. Like the way Doom used to control on the PlayStation before the twin sticks. So yeah, it's really weird. Some of them control okay, some of them don't. I don't remember if the Coded Arms had a decent setup, but apparently it sold well enough to get a sequel, so absolutely had to get that. This had online multiplayer for up to 8 players. That's crazy. And then I was like, there's an RPG there I've never heard of, and it was only like $12. So I was like, okay. And it's called Astonishia Story from Ubisoft. Knew nothing about it. I was just kind of like, it's cheap, so whatevs. Play as Honorable Knight Lloyd and embark on an epic journey to recover the Wand of Kenan, a sacred relic stolen from your protection. As the only knight to survive the ambush, you must summon your strength, your magic, and the skillful aid of wizards, fighters, mages, and other powerful allies to find the wand and reclaim it for your king. Intuitive, one-button control system. That's good. Just hit one button to do everything. That's going to be exciting. Hooray. Do not read that. It's like written underneath the second picture, and it's the only one that has anything written underneath it. Yeah. Yeah. Embark on an epic action and RPG adventure. Oh, God. That's going to be... Yeah. It's also a roller coaster at Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California. I've never been to Knott's Berry Farm, so I would not know. But I have been to the Universal Studios in LA. And I went on the Shrek ride. Technically not a ride. It was like a motion picture, a motion movie. Spray you in the face with water. Transformers ride was really cool, though. And I saw the Waterworld stunt show. And then the last things I have here are PlayStation 5 games. So we're finally caught up to modern day. And these were games that I had ordered due to getting the bonus from work. And these showed up today. I ordered them yesterday and they showed up today. And one of them is the sequel to a game I have for the PS5 already, and that is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. These are RPGs, but it's like graphic adventure RPGs. There's a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue. The tabletop RPG that Vampire the Masquerade is from, it's World of Darkness, is like, you want to talk about LARPing. People LARP the shit out of Vampire the Masquerade, and all they do is stand around and talk with each other in character. And that's basically what these games are, with some combat every once in a while. Includes 6 playable clans of vampires. Awakened from a century-long slumber as the Nomad, another vampire new to the modern night, in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, an action RPG where visceral vampire action meets neo-noir murder mystery. I like that. I played I was involved in a World of Darkness campaign in like late 2000s, like 2007, and my character was a vampire, and I had to use the Vampire the Masquerade rulebook. I was a vampire rock star. I was trying to be like Lestat from Queen of the Damned. And I called myself, what was it? Vincent La Plaga. This is a sequel to a game that I have for the PS5, which I've never actually played the original game. But this is like $20, so I was like, get it while it's on sale. Tormented Souls 2. I do believe these are Resident Evil style survival horror games. I could have sworn that the first one was kind of like a dungeon crawler, but I don't think it was. Since I've never played it, I would not know. But why am I buying sequels to games I haven't played? Because I'm crazy. Because I have a spending problem. It says, a new nightmare begins. Caroline Walker returns in the sequel to the award-winning survival horror classic. Explore the decaying remains of the secluded town of Villa Hess. Fight terrifying creatures with improvised weapons. And bend the very fabric of reality to save your sister from a twisted cult. Showa! I know Church the Game Grinder swore by the first one. So that's why I bought that and the second one. Had to get this because it's a first-person shooter, and it is a reboot of a game that I want to say it was the PlayStation 2 Diamonds in the Rough video that I made on my channel like years and years ago. This is the reboot of it, and that is Painkiller. This is from 3D Realms, the people who made Duke Nukem. And it's a first-person shooter. It just says prepare for pain, featuring co-op for up to 3 players. Purgatory is your playground. Grotesque terrors await. Obliterate your foes. I'm just hoping that this is not an online-only game, otherwise I'm going to have to return it. I needed to do more research. No offline mode. Oh, guess what's getting returned? This. Shit. This is online only. Not what I want. Damn it, I should have looked into it more. Well, that's going back. That's not an add-on to my collection. Sorry, guys. Bye-bye. And the last 2 games are from Limited Run Games. These are the only games that I got in January, which is why I never had a stream in January. I wasn't going to do a video about the 3 movies and the 2 video games that I bought. The stream would have been over in 10 minutes. So the first one is Biomorph. And this is a Metroidvania. It actually says Metroidvania on the back. Biomorph is a dark Metroidvania game. Solve ingenious puzzles and navigate a stunning 2D world. Meet quirky characters, rebuild a city, and uncover the secrets of a sprawling, fallen civilization and your own mysterious origins. Fight terrifying monsters and steal their shape and powers. So I'm pretty sure, I don't remember anything about this when I pre-ordered it. I probably saw Metroidvania in the description of the game, and I was just kind of like, yes! And that was it. So, yeah. Looks very old school. So, we'll see. And then the last game is funny for me. I'm surprised that they released this through limited run, but whatever. And that is the Bubsy in the Perfect Collection. Perfect with 3 R's. So this is Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. It has the Super Nintendo and the Genesis version on it. Bubsy 2, which is has the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, and the portable version. Bubsy in Fractured Furry Tales, which was on the Atari Jaguar, which I actually owned when I had a Jaguar back in the 90s. And Bubsy 3D, which is everybody's favorite game of all time, right? Also, the rare Japanese localization of Yamaniko Bubsy no Daibuken, which I'm assuming is like the first game, so it has a weird translation into Japanese. For the first time, experienced true analog control in the all-new Bubsy 3D refurbished edition. So yeah, we'll see if that does any good. Top secret Bubsy archives. It has an interactive museum, developer interviews, music, art, and more. And rewind, save, anywhere, cheats, and other quality of life upgrades. Captain Algebra would shoot me in the face if I ever used those. But I like Bubsy. Back in the day, I had the original Bubsy on the Super Nintendo, and I really liked it. I have it for my collection now. And like I said, I had the Bubsy game for the Jaguar, which is technically Bubsy 3. And I thought it was pretty okay on that, too. I think it actually controlled a little bit better on the Jaguar, even though the controller for the Jaguar sucked ass. But I liked it. So, since I'm probably not going to get a Jaguar anytime soon, I was like, if I want to play it again, that's the best way to do it. And if you want to play a decent version of Bubsy 3D with, actually uses the analog sticks in the proper way, use that too. So, yeah, that's it. Found one game that's going back. That's stupid. I should have looked into that more. Usually I'm pretty good at doing the research, but we'll see. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody, and hanging out with me tonight while I talk about all this stuff I've accumulated over the last 2 months. Next month will be crazy, too, because, like I said, all the stuff that I had ordered online will be showing up. Starting tomorrow, technically, and I'll be talking about them at the end of March. So, thank you, everybody, for coming to hang out. I will be back tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. if you're interested for the newest episode of my Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Tides of Flame. One of the character-specific plot lines may or may not conclude tomorrow. We shall find out. So very exciting for me because narratively, I'm really excited about seeing this thing through to the end. Hopefully it ends in a way that pleases everybody in the campaign. So come and check that out. Like I said, 11:30 a.m. Central tomorrow for the new episode of Tides of Flame. And I will be back next, hopefully Thursday, to stream again. I streamed on Wednesday, streamed some Cyberpunk 2077, but ended up getting a call that on Thursday from my mom going can you come over? I need your help with something. I was like, God damn it. The one night, on the one Thursday that I have nothing going on at work to keep me there late. Damn it. So hopefully nothing happens next Thursday. I don't think there will be, but we'll see. So next Thursday I'll be streaming at 9 p.m. Hopefully the ending of Tron Catalyst. I can finally finish that damn game. So, thanks everyone, like I said. Hopefully I'll see some of you tomorrow in the stream if you like watching people play Dungeons & Dragons and act geeky online. But until then, I will talk to you all later. Stay safe out there. Chris of Midlife Crisis Media out. Have a good night.